Thank you so much, Susan. We are grateful to be here to be able to share with you all the changes that we have taken place within the platform, as well as in our student learning objectives process. But most of this work could not be completed by us alone. We have relied a lot heavily on our districts. We have created 2 advisory groups, one strictly for the platform, and then one also for SLOs, asking for feedback, how can we make it better, and then really using that feedback in making those changes. So I just want to thank many of you in the room. I know a lot of faces, and I know on behalf of Michelle, she would also like to thank you all for that work, because that's the work that makes this really meaningful for us and makes it in turn work well for you. So today what we'd like to do is share a little bit of that feedback with you. I'm going to share some of the performance updates that you'll see in the platform, looking at some of our data from last year. Also go into the platform and show you that wireframe. I thought for a few moments I may have our technology guru over here working the cameras actually go through the platform, but I didn't want to put him on the spot. But you'll see it's very easy, very user-friendly, and I think your teachers and evaluators will really appreciate the many changes that have taken place. And then for our new districts that are hanging around to see what it looks like, we will be providing training and support. We don't want to just build a tool for you and then let you go. We're going to be side by side with you, providing that support and that help to make this a meaningful and successful year. And then Michelle's going to talk about the SLOs, share some great SLOs with you so you can see what they look like, and then be able to internalize that for your district. Also look at our new SLO submission process. This has been something we've been working internally on for about a year, and we are glad that we're able to use that this year. And I think those that have participated with that on the electronic platform see that it's a very valuable tool. And then also she's going to talk about her training and support plan. When we began with True North Logic with our electronic platform, that is our vendor that we work with, we did begin in June looking at our performance over the year. And I think it's important to share that information with you so that you can see exactly where we were, what we were looking at, and where are the changes that need to take place within our platform. This slide is showing us the amount of users in the platform on a day-to-day basis starting last July when we rolled it out through May of this year. You can see we have unique visitors, 479,000. Those are unique people logging into the platform. If we look at the amount of just volume alone, we're looking at over 1 million people logging in and out different days into the platform. And the other thing to point out here is folks that are in the platform are spending about 15 minutes in the platform, which is a good amount of time considering you're doing an observation, completing a self-assessment, and so on. So this is good information for us to look at and to be able to use that. And we noticed that we had, high volume in certain areas. And that was for us to then take back and look at, are there things in our process that we can change to help address that volume concern. And so what you'll see is we have changed a little bit our process for the surveys. We've shortened that window so those finish up a little bit earlier, leaving time for folks to be able to be in that platform to complete those summative assessments. When we talk about the system requirements, we do get a lot of questions about what can I use to use the platform? Can I use my iPad? Will it work for this? This is the statistics from last year. Most of our folks did use the Internet Explorer as their browser, and we'll drill down with that in just a few minutes so you can look exactly which version is the best for the platform. You'll see Firefox and Chrome. Those are going to be your best browsers for the offline tool. And so when we talk about the offline tool in a few moments, just keep that in the back of your mind that those will be the browsers that will work best for the offline tool. But what you'll see here is you can use Safari, you can use your Android browser. So there's many opportunities on different platforms to be able to use the platform. So I said we'd look at Internet Explorer. You can see our highlights are going to be our heavy hitters are 8 and 9. Which is where we want to be, and we still have a lot of folks who are using IE7. 7 is going to work fine for most of the applications on the platform. You just might see a few of the little knobs be a little bit different. Maybe the buttons aren't as clear, but you will be able to complete an observation, teachers can complete a self-assessment using IE7. So I did like to share that with you because I think it's important as you're looking at what you have within your district. There's still a lot of options for you to choose your browser for the platform. And this one's kind of a neat slide. They were able to pull sort of where's the traffic, where are folks in the platform from last year, where are those heavy places, and you can probably find yourself on the map. And then we also looked at the regions, and this was being pulled from Google, so you'll see that even the metro area is sort of broken down a little bit in locations. We've got Roswell split out, we've got Tucker split out, so you'll sort of see some of those areas. But this gives you an indication of locations where folks are really spending the time within the platform. And then this slide looks at the number of visits of users. You'll see we have a tremendous amount of folks logging in one time to the platform. Those are our survey accounts. We allow students and our leaders log in to complete a survey with one-time login information. So those are the number of folks that were actually in completing a survey. And so you'll see that those are our one-time hitters. Your 4 to 7 range, those are our teachers, logging in 4 to 7 times throughout the year, maybe once a month, completing that self-assessment in the beginning, then going back, looking at the walkthroughs and observation data. And so I like to keep this on our forefront because we need to be reminded that not everyone is in the platform every single day. And we need to keep that as we build the platform for our users. Are there things we can put in place to remind them where they left off when they left the platform? And you'll see one of those pieces we were able to add this year. You'll see the folks that are 26 to 100, those are going to be our evaluators. Going in, completing those observations for teachers, going in and completing those pieces, the summative assessment, looking at that survey data. And so you'll see that those are more of our heavy hitters. And then we talk about functionality within the platform. We're looking specifically at our tabs and our steps and looking at this data. You'll see again our student surveys were our largest place where folks were actually working in the platform. Again, every student having an opportunity to log in to complete a survey, we're going to see that number remain high. Our evaluation tabs, both the teacher effectiveness tab and the evaluation form, are the completions of those walkthroughs, formatives, and summatives. We'll get down to reporting sort of midway. Again, we were able to share with principals, district administrators, how to generate some reports so that you could use the data collected within the platform in meaningful ways. At the bottom of the list is our offline tool. And this was an area where we really spent a lot of time looking at this summer and realizing this is a place we need to spend time really sharing with our principals about the offline tool. Most of our feedback that we received was around folks going from room to room trying to complete an observation, and as they left one room, chances are they lost connectivity going to the next room, and they weren't able to capture all that information in the platform. With the offline tool, it doesn't matter your connectivity. As you move from room to room, you have all your observations there. When you go back to your office and connect in, everything is synced back up. So it's a very seamless transition going from room to room to complete the observations. So we'll highlight that in a few minutes for you to be able to see that piece, because I think you'll find your evaluators to really like that tool. And also we spent some time really analyzing our site performance. I know we had several places where we had some growing pains throughout the year, and we did take those internally, look at what's going on in the platform, and really try to decide, is it something we can do with our performance and change that process. But again, overall, we see those spikes. The spike there in the fall, we added additional servers, changed up a little bit of the configuration, and you can see from October through April, we ran a pretty smooth ship there with our performance working like we want it to. At the end of April, again, we had that high peak time where folks were trying to get in and complete everything that was required. And so we have addressed that again with our process. You'll look at the bottom, you can see the average page download time is still 0.23 seconds. So that's the amount of time it takes to load one of the pages in the platform. That's still very good in terms of wanting to get access and have a good experience within the platform. So we are constantly monitoring this, working with True North Logic. We do have a project manager who meets with us at least weekly, if not more than that, making sure that your experience in the platform is one that is desirable and works for you. That's the purpose of this platform. And so here's some of the changes that did take place over the year. Again, we did add additional servers in September. In January, the nightly upload was shifted to 2 job loads, which helped it be prepared and ready for when we arrived at 6:30 or 7 in the morning of a school day. And then in March, True North Logic did ask for an external review of their system and said, what is it that we are doing? Are there places where we could improve either our hardware or within the configurations to help that performance out? And you'll see what we were able to do is go through with a new user interface and look at some of those pieces where we could cut down some of that behind the scenes back-end queries that are pulling to ensure that the pages are loading at a timely fashion. So the issues that we have tackled is consistency, making sure that throughout the platform when you click finalize, it means the same throughout the platform. The mark complete we have worked on. Every signature step that requires that, there is no mark complete. Your signature is doing that for you. So again, looking at places where we could reduce the number of clicks to really enhance that performance. It's going to be a little more intuitive and user-friendly. We heard from many of you that this was something that our teachers did not find as user-friendly. It was a little difficult to navigate, and we've tried to address those. And the bottom line is we want that speed. We want to be able to click from page to page and get the data, get the information we want in a timely fashion. And so we have started to roll this out. You'll see the beginnings of that work. It is a year-long process. So you'll see as we do updates and releases throughout the year, you'll see some of those changes take place. Every district has identified a super user, and those are the folks who are managing the accounts at the district level, and we have provided them a calendar of when those updates are going to occur so that they can make sure that you're informed, your district knows these are the changes that are taking place. So here's some examples of what you're going to see. Our old plan we had in the platform had the different components or the different evaluation systems. You had to click the edit button to enter in the platform. And now you can see that it's a much cleaner look. All you have to do is click on the actual name that you need and you're going right into your plan. And on the back end, when we look at what it takes for that page to load, we look at the back end queries there. The old was 86. The new is now cut down to 12. That's the amount of work it has to do on the back end to say what is the information we need to load it for you to view. Also, if you look at that load time, you're noticing that that is cut in half. And on the plan details, here's another example. We had our containers and steps within those containers. And now that's a much more refined look and has fewer clicks in terms of entering into those containers. And then when we look at the configuration on the back end, again, cutting that time in half, really allowing that speed to take in place for us to be able to have a great experience within the platform. Now see, wasn't that worth staying for this session? All right, what I'd like to do now is go into the platform for you to be able to see it live, to see what's going on. I'm going to go in as a teacher first so that you can see exactly what the teacher views within the platform. So when they load in, this is their home page. You'll see on the home page we have added the My Plans channel. This allows the teacher from the home page to click right into their evaluation plan. They don't have to go and find the tab at the top. They can just click right within on the home page. The other thing you'll see listed here is the step. This is the step in which they left off. So for those users who are going in 4 to 5 times throughout the year, it's going to tell them this is where you left off. You were working in the orientation step, or you're in the self-assessment. That's where you need to go back and finish your work. So the teacher is able to click right into her plan and see that everything is loaded there for them. We still have a lot of the same information and the same process. We did change a few things that I'd like to highlight for you. You'll notice we have the orientation and familiarization. The orientation remained the same, but we did try to reduce the number of clicks for folks. So you'll see all they have to do is accept the signature, and that step is then marked complete. The resources are there for them. They'll be able to view the video for orientation. The handbook will be listed there, the fact sheets. Everything that they need about the system will be listed there for them on a quick link. Familiarization we changed just slightly. Since familiarization is a piece that's ongoing throughout the year, it didn't make sense that we had a sign off on the familiarization. So what we have done is just left that step open. The resources are there, but a teacher can go back at any time to access that information. Again, those videos are down at the standard level. We have Georgia teachers talking about their work, describing what's going on in their classroom, and then having that footage to show it of what they're really talking about within their classroom. So those are great videos for teachers and leaders to use within their professional learning. Another big change is where we put our conference tools. Looking at our data from last year, our conferences were all in the bottom container, and they seem to sometimes get overlooked. So we went back on the recommendation of our advisory group and put those in the place where you would be actually hosting and having those conferences. So you'll see with the self-assessment, we now have the pre-evaluation conference listed there. In teacher assessment on performance standard, we have the documenting performance. We have combined the notes library for both the teacher and the leader into one. This way, when a teacher uploads documentation, the evaluator can see it, as well as if the evaluator uploads documentation, the teacher can see it. So that way you have that two-way communication within your evaluation system for your teachers. We did combine the walkthrough and formative steps. We had those split last year. And so this allows you, as you're working through an observation, that if you had to leave quickly, you were planning to do a formative, it could be a walkthrough. Or if you're there and you say, I'm going to stay a few more minutes and I'm going to make this my formative, then you can do that without having to switch out of the steps. This is the teacher's view. We will have it where it will have the modified date. This is going to be the date that the observation was actually taken place. The created date will be the date that's in the platform. That was another recommendation from our advisory council. They wanted to see the date of the observation, so it's going to be listed there for you. And I'm going to switch over to a leader's plan. So the leader is able to see all their evaluations of their staff under the My Staff plans. They can click on all evaluations if they want to see everything listed, or they can easily drill down and get the ones that they are working on for that particular day. When I click into a teacher's plan, and I wanted to go and show you that walkthrough formative assessment piece, when I get to the finished part, I'll answer questions. So with the walkthrough informative, we did change up that walkthrough details box. You'll see we have the date of the observation. So if you completed the observation on Friday and you're entering in the platform on Monday, you'll be able to have both of those dates. So you'll know exactly the day that was completed. You'll also select the type. Was it formative or was it a walkthrough? And then if you want, for the evaluator only, you can capture notes as you're doing your observation. So if you're a person who likes to just get everything down that's being said, you can do that in the observation notes box and then use that to transfer over into your specific comments, elaborate, provide suggestions or recommendations. So I wanted to point that out for folks because that was another change that we did in the platform. And you'll notice some folks say it's a little small, but you notice that I just clicked on the box and I was able to make that larger. Oops. So I can make it as large as I need as I work through the platform. You'll see that we do have the survey steps listed there. One of the changes we did make with the survey process is once 15 surveys have been completed for a teacher, they're going to be viewable in their platform. So teachers and leaders will be able to view that. So leaders won't have to go through and print a report and then attach that information if they were to do it early on before the summative assessment. So that data will be available and viewable once 15 surveys are completed, since that's our end size. Michelle's going to talk a little bit about the student growth and academic achievement piece, but you'll see we'll have the implementation plan here, as well as the student pre-assessment data loaded. All of our super users did receive a calendar of those uploads, so we'll be uploading your SLOs both in the fall and the spring so that you can have both semesters of information. And then you'll see we have the summative assessment and the summative conference. With the summative conference, we did include an acknowledgement that the summative assessment was reviewed, and for the teacher as well, so that there's a sign-off on both parties that the summative was completed and discussed, because that was a component that folks really felt important to have, both of the sign-off and the acknowledgement. And then we did go ahead and leave the professional development plan and additional conferences there in the bottom. So again, you'll see it's a little bit more streamlined based on the process that you go through. And I think, again, a lot of these recommendations come from our advisory group, folks who are working in the platform both at the teacher level, at the evaluator level, and at the district level. So we do value that feedback. Our next tab is that Work Offline tab, and I did want to go ahead and show you how easy that is to use. Again, you do need to look at which browser you're using. Chrome, Firefox will work for those, and IE10. So I'm going to click on the Offline tool. What it's doing is it's downloading any observation for a teacher that I have access to. So it doesn't matter if you decide halfway that you want to go visit another teacher or change your mind. You're not downloading each individual teacher, but collectively. When you sync it back up,